certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
And on to another episode of Rankin. This is going to be a fun one today. We're talking about 80s romantic comedies. And we've got a great bunch of people here. We've got Dan over here. Dan, how's it going?
Pretty good, Malcolm. I've seen my share of 80s rom-coms, so I think I might be one of the good people to have on here.
We've also got Jonathan Carroll here. Jonathan, how's it going?
Pretty well, yes. We're wearing our baseball caps. Maybe there's one that could be judged as a romantic comedy, one baseball one. We'll see if it's brought up. But no, it's really good. And yeah, I've seen my fair share of romantic comedies in the 1980s as well. And I have a lot on this list or condition, but no, I think I have a fair 12 for sure. So let's have some fun.
And last but not least, I've got Zach. Zach, how's it going?
Good. First, thanks for having me on. And I do have a list. It might not be as long as Jonathan's, but I have a list that I feel good with. So,
but that how Rankin works is we each go around and bring up a movie that we think belongs on a top 12 list, and everyone will say yes or no to it, and then we'll go in there because it's a 4-person panel. It's going to come down to the other 3 people on the panel if it makes the list. But we'll see what happens. But Dan, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
Well, I'm a pretty big fan of this movie. I'm a massive Jack Nicholson fan, and I love Sissy Spacek as well. Jeff Daniels is good. I think it's Deborah Winger. A lot of great actors are in this movie, and it won the Academy Award for 1984? Was it 84? Yeah, 83. Terms of Endearment. I just love this movie. I mean, the fact that Jack Nicholson is an astronaut is just crazy. And then the whole scene where he's racing on the beach with the car, and I love that scene. So I'm a massive fan of Terms of Endearment. So and the Academy Awards. So it goes hand in hand.
Jonathan, what do you say about Terms of Endearment?
Yeah, it's a good pick. Yeah, I put it on the list. However, it's pretty low. I think that the romance really works between Jack and Shirley MacLaine. I didn't laugh as hard or as much, only on the Jack Nicholson stuff, but it's really drama heavy, especially in the latter half. And boy, I just don't think of it as a rom-com. I think of it as like a romantic dramedy, heavily more on the drama than the comedy. But no, I think it's a really good movie. But I'm gonna say no to it, but because I do have another James L. Brooks movie actually on the list, and I think that's more rom-com than it is this is more rom-com, and I think that is Terms of Endearment. So it's a slight no, but I think it's a really good movie, and yeah. It's a good pick.
But Zach, what do you say about Terms of Endearment?
unfortunately, I have not gotten around to Terms of Endearment yet. Again, there are so many movies to see, but I've heard good things about it, so I haven't gotten around to it. So,
yeah, unfortunately, I also didn't get around to it. Like, I had a lot of movies I wanted to catch up with. This is definitely one of the bigger ones I did want to try and get onto, but I just haven't seen it, unfortunately. So it's going to be a no for me. So unfortunately, it's not going to make the list. But Jonathan, we're going to go to you next. What is your first nomination?
Okay, so yeah, again, I was very surprised how many movies I've had in contention. I was like, wow, this is a good movie, this is a good movie, this is a good movie. Like, wow, so many good ones. And the one that popped into my head when I think of 80s rom-coms, When Harry Met Sally. I think that's the essential movie because the eternal question remains, can men and women be friends beyond sex? Can they ever still be friends? And that eternal question lies even today when they get along, just friendship wise. And I think it's a very smart, observant, romantic comedy about Harry and Sally just experimenting on their friendship especially throughout the years. So it's really smart, very well written romantic comedy. So When Harry Met Sally.
Zach, what do you say about When Harry Met Sally?
Yes, I have seen this movie. It's been a while, but I do remember enjoying it when I did see it. It's one that I want to get back to. But because I did enjoy it when I saw it, and I do think it does both of the parts very well, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones. I was going through this list, like there wasn't a lot of like big like movies where like if it doesn't make the list, like people write. This is the one movie that I looked at. It's like if this doesn't make the list, people are writing for this one specifically. But because this is like the romantic comedy of the 80s, and yeah, I thought it's bad, and just like Zach, like I haven't rewatched it in a while. I was going to rewatch it for this if I had time. I just didn't. But it's going to be yes for me. Dan, what do you say about When Harry Met Sally?
Well, I had one on my list that was number one on the list. I didn't last time when I said mine, I didn't say what was number one on my list, but Jonathan happened to say what was number one on my list. So that's a big yes for When Harry Met Sally. I love this movie. It's a fantastic movie. It's got one of the greatest scenes in movie history. It gets quoted all the time. So Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan. I mean, and Rob Reiner, director. I mean, it just it has what you want. Rob Reiner, when you're looking at a romantic comedy, this movie has it. So that's why I had it at number one. I just didn't go with it because I wanted to champion something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember if this started the Rob Reiner run or if this was kind of like in the middle of it.
Well, he had Spinal Tap and he had Princess Bride before that.
Yeah.
But Stand By Me.
Yeah, When Harry Met Sally is going to make the list. Zach, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
I'll bring up one later that I really like. I'm going to bring up another one that when I hear of 80s romantic comedies, this one comes to mind, and I've seen it multiple times, and I really enjoy it, especially the chemistry between the two main leads. And I'm going to bring up Can't Buy Me Love. I like I said, I think the chemistry really works, and it's a really good story, and just I enjoy it every time I watch it. So Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah, this is one I've heard a lot about, but I hadn't got around to see it. And this was one of those ones, like for the ones that I was going to watch for this, I was only focusing on ones that I could strictly find on streaming services because I didn't have time to go through my other channels to watch all the big ones. But yeah, I just haven't seen this one. But Dan, what do you say about Can't Buy Me Love?
Yeah, I'm not. When I think about 80s rom-coms, I don't put this at the top of my list, and there's a lot of them that I have on my list. I have almost 20 on my list, and I just don't put this near the top of the list of ones that I would want to champion. And I appreciate the fact that you did bring it up, Zach. I have so many more that I think deserve to be on the list more than this one, so I'm going to say no.
Jonathan, what do you say about Can't Buy Me Love?
I haven't seen it. Yeah, there are some ones that I haven't seen in the 80s that I wanted to get to. This was one of them, but no, it was too late for me. I only saw 3 for this, short notice. So thank goodness they're short though. So, but
yeah,
no.
But unfortunately, Can't Buy Me Love is not going to make the list. But yeah, going on to me, I'm going to bring up one that came up on a few lists, but it's one that I'm not so consoled if it's considered romantic comedy. I know I ultimately said, I know because I'm pretty sure it was one that Dan kind of brought up in the chat, but because it came up on a few romantic comedy lists, I decided to allow it, and that is Tom Hanks's Big. This is one of those ones where the romance is not a big part of it, but I still think it's a good comedy movie, and I do think the romance despite on how creepy it may seem because of the concept of the movie, I think the romance it's done well, but yeah, I don't know if there's enough of it for it to be fully be a romantic comedy. So that's why I thought I'll bring it up first to see what happens. It doesn't make the list. It is what it is. But Dan, what do you say about Big?
Yeah, the romance is obviously a child who turns into a man who then falls in love with an adult woman. So it's kind of a weird romance. But if you get past that part of it, it's a good rom-com. And Tom Hanks is obviously it's arguably one of the top 10 Tom Hanks movies of all time. But we're talking about rom-coms. So when you think about rom-coms of the 80s, does that rank in the top 12? I mean, when you're dealing with 12, I think you could arguably say this is top 12. I wouldn't say of all time, but the romance, like you said, doesn't play as big a part in it as the comedy and the stuff like that. But it is a great film, and so I think it kind of gets the pass for me because of the fact that it's a great film and it has a romance in it and it has some comedy and Robert Loggia and stuff like that. So I'm going to say very, very slightly yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about Big?
Yeah, this is a tricky one. I really like Big. I really like Tom Hanks's performance in this movie. He evokes this youthly kid very well, both in happiness and in fear. The romance is when we'll get people divided. It works all right, but then when you grow up and realize what the romance is, it is eerie. And then you question, like, how did he figure it out? Okay, so I mean, it's pretty awkward when you think about it. I do have Big on the list, but I put it pretty low because it is a good, it is an interesting concept for a romance comedy. It's great. Romance-wise, I think it's just a little awkward. Even though I'm a big fan of this movie and Tom Hanks's performance, even Robert Loggia's performance, he's great in it. I'm gonna go a slight no, but I don't mind if it makes the list actually.
Yeah. So it's going to come down to Zach. Zach, what do you say about Big?
Yeah, it comes down to me. So this is actually one that I had on my list. It is pretty low, but I can understand the apprehension with the romance aspect. Again, like we said, the comedy works. The romance is a little eerie. I would give it just a slight yes, just because I did have it on my list, but I could understand the apprehension.
Yeah, but Big is going to make the list, and we go back to Dan.
Yeah, Jonathan alluded to baseball and romantic comedies. To me, there's this one that really hits it out of the park, and it's a phenomenal baseball movie that I love called Bull Durham, and it stars Kevin Costner, Susan Sarandon, and Tim Robbins. And what's his name? Costner's a pitcher, Robbins is the catcher, and this woman who kind of follows this AAA baseball team called the Durham Bulls, which used to be the AAA team of the Atlanta Braves, is now the AAA team for the Tampa Bay Rays. And it is a real team, the Durham Bulls, Durham, North Carolina. But Nuke Lelouch is this kind of kid that's Kevin Costner's grooming to be this great pitcher and stuff. And he plays the catcher. Kevin Costner plays the catcher and stuff. And they kind of having this back and forth with Susan Sarandon. I absolutely love this movie. I could watch this movie over and over again. I'm a massive baseball fan, but the romantic comedy aspect is what's amazing about this. So, Bull Durham. Sorry for going on so long.
That's all good. Jonathan, what do you say about Bull Durham?
Well, Dan, I tip my hat to you on Bull Durham. It's on my list. Yeah, it's on my list. I think it's a smart comedy. It's a smart romantic comedy about baseball. When the comedy aspects work in wonders because you hear their thoughts when they're on the plate and also when they're on the pitcher's mound, just talking about something. It's like, what are they talking about? Oh, they're talking about what to get for the wedding, the bridal registry, and it's hilarious. It's a great moment. Also, it's very sexy in the romantic aspect because Susan Sarandon, she's very hot in it. Actually, she's trying to just sway her thoughts with this veteran and this rookie here, this ruckus rookie, and yeah, there's a little bit of tension between all three of them, but no, I like it. It's not as cliched as you might think. So yeah, I really like Bull Durham. I don't rewatch it as much, but it is a very good movie. So I'll go Bull Durham. I'll go yes.
Zach, what do you say about Bull Durham?
I'm tipping my invisible hat because I haven't seen it. It's another one that is now on my list, and I'm a sports movie fan. Just have not gotten around to it, and it's just I've wanted to see it for years. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's a little more crude than you think, but you'll like it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, out of all the people on this list, I thought for sure Zach would have seen this one. But it is what it is. Like we can't see all the movies ever made for ages. But I also unfortunately have not got around to Bull Durham. But look, no, this is one that there was a couple of movies. There's like, if this comes up, I'll probably give a blind yes to anyway, just because there's a few that I've seen, but there's a lot. There's like, I'm kind of iffy about if they're considered romantic comedies or not. So I'll give it a blind yes to Bull Durham easily. So it's going to make the list regardless. So I am interested in watching it. But Jonathan, we go back to you.
Okay, when you research romantic comedies, there's always one overlooked one that you think about. Is like, oh, I laugh at this movie a lot, but is it a romantic comedy? And the answer is yes, because it is about a man chasing the woman of his dreams in another country. He's chasing his bride, and I'm alluding to Coming to America. It is a romantic comedy because it's about a prince basically looking for his bride because he doesn't love his betrothed. They don't really get along. She's mostly just obeying orders than really communicating, getting to know one another. So he just wants an intelligent woman for his intellectual needs as well as his loins, according to Eddie Murphy's character Akeem. And it's an old-fashioned love story. I mean, he's basically on the pursuit of this young woman, and we see her about a little earlier, late in the first half, but is really a pursuit, and the romance does blossom little by little as he gets closer to her. And you know what happens in the end. I mean, we had a sequel, and it's in Zamunda. So yeah, Coming to America. Yeah, this Eddie rom-com.
Zach, what do you say about Coming to America? This is getting a definite yes because this is actually number 2 on my list. So it was very high on my list anyway. So I'm gonna give it a yes.
Yeah, this is one that was like when I was making the list, my personal list, like this is the first like the first one that came to mind straight away was like this is definitely a romantic comedy. I think it's great, and it's just one of those ones. I think it's entertaining the more you watch it and all that. So it's an easy yes for me as well. But Dan, what do you say about Coming to America?
Yeah, it's a absolute classic. I mean, it was when Eddie Murphy was in his this run where he couldn't do no wrong, and this is a hilarious movie. And Jonathan's right. He's coming from another country over to the United States to try to find his bride that he could take to Africa and marry as his queen. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those classic comedies that does have a romance in it because Eddie Murphy was just on fire at this time in his career. So I'll say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to America is going to make this list. Funny enough, when Jonathan started, I thought it was going to go a different way when he talked about going to a different from one country to another, but we'll get to that one in due time, most likely. Zach, but Zach, what is the next review?
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're referring to. Okay.
Okay, so this is the movie I was alluding to earlier that I'm going to bring up that I really enjoy, and I know two of the people have seen this movie now. I don't know how it's going to go over. It's one of my guilty movie pleasures, Mannequin. I really enjoy this movie. I think the chemistry between Andrew McCarthy and Kim Cattrall really works, in my opinion, and it does have those comedy aspects. So I'm going to bring up Mannequin.
Yeah, I at least know how one person feels about that. Look, this is one I watched for the first time. I've heard a lot about this. I've been putting off watching it for ages, but I did finally get around to watching it for this. And look, this is one of those ones like I thought it was entertaining. Like, well, it's not too high up my list. Like, if it does end up making it, it probably end up being low for me. But I thought the movie was entertaining. I thought the romantic element was decent, and I thought it was. So it's going to be a slight yes for me. But Dan, what do you say about Mannequin?
Yeah, you walk by a window and you see a mannequin, and it's turns into Kim Cattrall. You say to yourself, "Hey, that's not a bad concept for a movie." Except, I don't think this movie was that good. So, I just don't think this is a very good movie. So, I'm going to tell you, Zach, I apologize, but I'm just not a fan of this movie. So, I'm going to say no.
And Jonathan, you have the floor.
Okay. So I knew that Zach had it in his top 128. So, and I did not know anything about it except for the premise. So I was blind going in, and I did give it a chance to watch it for the first time because it was mentioned in a few lists. And I think this is one of the sickest premises I've ever witnessed. It's so sick. And I hate using this word, but I was cringing watching this movie. Like, and I hate going into this like not laughing at all, and I did not laugh at all. Like, it just made me sick to my stomach. It's just eerie and it didn't make me feel good at all. Incomprehensible, shockingly unfunny, painful, cloying, implausible. I'll give them one montage because I was smiling, as Kim Cattrall was trying on dresses just to, give him creative ideas because he's a window dresser. Andrew McCarthy's character is a window dresser. I'll give him that. And Cattrall is doing her best. At least she was luminous. But no, it's not. I think Dan was treating it very nicely. I think this is awful.
Thank you for your words of.
I gave it a chance.
No. I'm saying that's why I like your thoughts because.
Believe it or not, Mannequin's Oscar nominated too.
For a song?
Best original song, yeah.
What's the song?
Nothing's Going to Stop Us Now by Starship.
Oh, that's a good song.
Oh, that's a great song.
That is a good song. I'll give it that. Sure.
But if that comes to me, I'll bring up the one that I just alluded to like seconds ago. And that's Crocodile Dundee. Look, this is a fantastic movie. It's one that I think is great. It was Paul Hogan, this guy from Australia who ends up goes to Australia, finds love, and then it's one of those like typical romantic comedies thing that love sort of gets engaged with someone else, and then ends up sort of stuff. But I think the movie is great. I think it's really fun. Just watching Paul Hogan do this. He's always been entertaining, and I think the movie itself works. But Dan, what do you say about Crocodile Dundee?
Well, Malcolm, I'll tell you this. I love Crocodile Dundee. I absolutely love this movie. but I just look at it more as a comedy, like a straightforward comedy, than a rom-com. If there is some romantic elements in there, but I don't look at it. It's more of a fish out of water comedy to me than a rom-com. So for that reason, I'm going to say no. But I absolutely love this movie. Great pick. Great pick.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Jonathan, what do you say about Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, Dan is 100% correct. I think of this more as a fish out of water comedy than I do a romantic comedy. The romance is predictable. You could see it coming once you see Crocodile Dundee, Mick Dundee. And she is gorgeous. She's beautiful. And you just want them to be happy and to be together in the end. And I do love the ending. The ending is very charming, very wholesome. Yeah, we need some of those back, some wholesome romantic comedies. And I mean, it is lovely. But yeah, the romance is in the back of my mind when I think of Crocodile Dundee. And yeah, I think it's a wholesome comedy that I do recommend a whole lot. And so I like the recommendation. I like the nomination, and I'm going to go a slight no, but no, I really like this movie a whole lot.
And Zach, what do you say about Crocodile Dundee?
Unfortunately, Malcolm, I'm going to have to agree with them. I never thought of it as a romantic comedy, just a comedy. But I mean, it would only get a slight no for me. But it's going to be a no.
Oh yeah, that's like. There's a lot of movies that came up on lists that I was looking up for this. It was like, is it really a romantic comedy? Is it not? And there was a couple of those I watched for this too as well. But we'll get.
It's like in the last 10 minutes, I think, the romance. So
yeah. I do get that in that. But Dan, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
Real quick, is the scene where she's in like the subway? She goes, Mick Dundee, and then they both. Is that in this one?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the ending.
That's a great scene.
That's a great ending.
That is a great ending. It really is. Mick Dundee.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you. Yeah, that was great. That is nice. Great. I'm going to go with one of the greats of all time. I mean, when you think of this genre and you think about the 80s, and you think about somebody that's technically a singer, but she had a run with her husband years before, and they were musicians, and they had I believe a variety show or something, the Sonny and Cher show. But the one that to me is one of the greats of all time is Moonstruck. It stars Cher and Nicolas Cage, and it's got Olympia Dukakis and Danny Aiello, and it's directed by Norman Jewison. It's one of those. It just feels real. Like you think of romances and comedies and stuff. A lot of these just feel like manufactured, but this felt real, like it was really going on, and these are real people, and these scenarios were happening in the movie, and I really just, going back, it's what 35 years old, maybe 35ish years old.
Came out.
Yeah, so but I think it's one of the greats of all time, but. It's just for a certain audience. It's like it's not geared for everybody, you know. You have to kind of be a mature person to kind of really get what they're going for in Moonstruck. But I think it's one of the greats, so I'm going to say Moonstruck.
But Jonathan, what do you say about Moonstruck?
That's amore. I love this movie. It's not just the romance. You kind of have a love triangle, because the one brother goes back to Italy to see his dying mother, or dying, quote unquote, and then the other brother works at a bakery because he has a grudge against his other brother because he lost his hand. So. I love this movie, and I think Nicolas Cage and Cher give some wonderful performances. And beyond that, the family, I think they're richly written. The mom, the dad, the guy upstairs with his dogs, and even the two relatives that work in the store. I mean, they're old, but they're still in love with each other. They love each other still. And I think, and then obviously you have the Danny Aiello character. They're all richly written. I know who their characters are. And it's just a wonderful movie. I love this movie. It's a wholesome film, and I can relate to it because family just meddle and in different situations, and great performances all around. I just love the Dukakis character. I think she's great. So, 100% yes for me.
Zach, what do you say about Moonstruck?
Don't worry, Dan. I actually have seen this movie. Don't worry. I watched it last night for the first time. So,
good job.
Yes. So I might not be as high on it as you. I think there are some things that work, some things that don't. I think Cher and Olympia Dukakis are the standouts in this movie. I didn't get as much comedy though, but I liked the story overall. I think, in my opinion, I think there's a better Nicolas Cage performance in another movie from the same decade. But I will give it a slight yes.
I like Moonstruck, but yeah, I'm also not as high on it too. And it's one of those ones when it comes to romantic comedies, I actually don't mind a lot of them that don't have very have more subtler comedies. I think for romantic comedies to work, the romance has to be the main part, and the comedy is still there. But I think Moonstruck is the perfect balance of that. I think it is great. So yeah. I will say when Dan started his thing, when he's talked about a singer, I thought he was going a different way with that. Then it was pivot. But Moonstruck is getting a yes for me, so it is going to make the list. But Jonathan, I'm going to go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Okay, it's getting a little tougher. Now I'm going to save that one for another one because we got to honor this person, given the recent news. Okay, I want to champion this one because I think this is another richly written romantic comedy that holds up very well. I'm going to talk about Working Girl. I want to nominate Working Girl. So basically, it's about an ambitious working class woman played by Melanie Griffith who wants to climb up the corporate ladder of the executive position. And after she basically accuses of her boss of just harassment, basically, she gets fired, but she gets one last chance. Olympia Dukakis is in it for one scene. And just lands in an administrative assistant position at a mergers and acquisitions firm that is run by a boss played by Sigourney Weaver in a great supporting performance. And after Weaver's character gets injured in her trip, she finds out that Weaver steals her ideas, and then she goes in all in on her own, pretending to be Weaver, and she needs help from another person played by Harrison Ford, and that's when the romance starts to kick in a little bit. I'm not going to spoil much because it is not many people have seen it, unfortunately, but I think it's really held up. It's a great Mike Nichols film. Harrison Ford is great in this film in a comical performance, but also he's serious in his corporate stature. And then you have the love triangle in the second half, and I think it's very interesting and tricky, especially when it comes to professional standards. And then obviously the ending is wonderful. And also there's a rooting factor with Melanie Griffith. You just root for her just to, climb up the ladder. So I think it works all around. So Working Girl.
Zach, what do you say about Working Girl?
This is another one I have not seen, but I will add it to my list because you have talked so much about it, Jonathan. I haven't seen it.
I actually have seen it. I watched it for the first time. Spoilers, because it's one of those ones that I've heard a lot about. It's I will finally get around to seeing it. I will say, I thought I saw it on Amazon Prime. I watched it, but it turned out it was a different movie with girl in the title, but a different serious thing. But that may come up later. but Working Girl, I think, is fantastic. It's great. So it's going to be yes for me. Dan, what do you say about Working Girl?
Yeah, I saw this at a young age, and I haven't really seen it much since then. But I vividly remember it because it was so good back then. And the performances, like Jonathan said, the story, you just root for Melanie Griffith. You know what I mean? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she won an Academy Award for best. No, or she was nominated. Somebody
was nominated
for this.
Nominated, and Weaver was nominated.
Oh, were they? Okay, I thought somebody won.
The song won.
Oh, was that it?
The song? Another movie with a song that won.
I thought, I don't know. I thought somebody from this movie had won an Academy Award.
Charlie Simon won.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, this is a great movie, and I would have brought it up myself if Jonathan hadn't brought it up. So yeah, it's a yes for me.
But that Working Girl is going to make the list. Apparently, there's supposed to be a reboot coming at some stage, or Selena Gomez producing it. But the news that I saw about that was from 2022, so I don't know what's happening.
I don't know. No, it holds up really well, though.
Yeah, it really does.
It really holds up.
But Zach, we go to you. What is your next movie you're going to bring up?
Okay, I'm going to bring up one that features one of my favorite actors, and that is Overboard. I think I've seen this a couple times. I really enjoy, especially the chemistry with him and Goldie Hawn, but like the different living environments and how they can learn to coexist with the different comedic aspects and their chemistry. And I just think it all works. So I'm going to nominate Overboard.
Zach, I think you and my buddy Matt Kearns will definitely get along because he would murder me if I didn't bring up Overboard, because I probably would. He also really loves Kurt Russell, and he's also another one that doesn't watch a lot of new releases, but he watches a lot of older stuff, which is what you do as well. So you two are more alike than you may think. But Overboard is great. I actually watched it for the first time for this. It's one that I thought I had watched before, but I must have started it at some stage, but then stopped it and then never went back to it. But I think it's great. And well, it should be obvious, but we are talking about the 80s version, not the remake. Because obviously, the remake didn't come out in the 80s. But I think Overboard is fantastic. I think Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn a good chemistry. I can't remember if don't know if they're dating at this point, or if this is the movie that they met on when they started dating.
That's a good question.
But it's definitely but the chemistry was definitely there. And yeah, so it's a yes for me easily. Dan, what do you say about Overboard?
Yeah, I like Overboard quite a bit, and but the fact of the matter is, I had so many on my list that I had Overboard way down on my list, Zach. So, and by the way, the remake, Eugene Derbez, if you haven't seen this guy in something, he's in a movie called Coda. He's also in the remake of Overboard. Eugene Derbez. This guy is a really good actor. I recommend the remake of Overboard just for him. But yeah, it's way down on my list. So for that reason, I'm going to have to say no.
Crap.
Jonathan, what do you say about Overboard?
Okay, well, back to the research. So they met on Swing Shift, which was 3 years before Overboard. So obviously they had chemistry before.
Yeah.
They were going to make another one. I do like Overboard as well. I like it very much. And the premise is kind of off, but the way Gary Marshall pulled it together was interesting and kind of heartfelt. Also, it was kind of funny. Yeah, the chemistry is obviously there because Han and Russell were together, and yeah, you just you like them, and you also liked Russell's kids as well. I mean, they get along really well, and it's very good. Boy, this is close. because I do have it on my list. I have it kind of high on my honorable mentions. Sure, I'll give up a spot for Overboard. Yeah, let's get Kurt Russell on the list.
Yeah, Overboard is going to make the list. Got 5 spots remaining, and it's on me. You know, I'm going to bring this one up. I think this is the one that Jonathan hinted at earlier, but I'm going to bring up Broadcast News, directed by James L. Brooks, and yeah, I think Broadcast News once again is another one that is kind of surface level rom-com in a way. Is like there is romance, there is comedy, and that I think it's one of those ones. I think it's entertaining. I think all the cast have great chemistry with each other, and yeah, it's just one that I think is entertaining. And honestly, it's one that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. But it is, and I've kind of come to be like started coming around to some of these older movies that like don't get talked about as much. But Dan, what do you say about Broadcast News?
Yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I mean, William Hurt is amazing in it. The whole cast is really great in it. But I don't look at this as a romantic comedy. I look at it as a drama. For me, I look at it as a drama. It might be characterized as romantic comedy, or I don't see the comedy in this. There's one scene I think where he like somebody goes crazy and starts yelling or something like that. I forget. If I'm mistaken, just tell me if I'm mistaken. But other than
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe yeah. I mean,
maybe it's a different movie, but
no. There's a scene with William Hurt, and I just can't remember what the scene is. I
don't remember him yelling at all
or something. I can't remember. I saw it a couple years ago again because it came out to the Criterion Collection. I haven't seen it since then. But I do like this movie quite a bit, and it's a really good movie. But I just don't look at it as a rom-com, and maybe it is considered a rom-com, but I don't. In my head, I don't consider it as a rom-com. It's not a movie that I laugh at, you know. So I'm going to say no.
But Jonathan, what do you say about Broadcast News?
I get what Dan is saying a little bit about the drama aspect. There is some heavy drama towards the end that is quite relatable in the news force. But no, I think this is a rom-com because it's revolving around these 3 characters played by Hurt, Brooks, and Hunter. Hunter screams a lot, by the way. I think that's the one you're thinking of, Hunter. But no, I think that it works. The comedy aspect really is devoted to all 3 of them. Brooks has some funny scenes, funny moments, you know, when he's sweating during a news segment. I think it's hilarious. And Hurt, he's not like funny, but he's subtly funny. But then Hunter has some standout moments. And the romance, I like that it's not conventional. I like that it goes in a very normalistic route, and I like that. And it doesn't end in a way that you think most rom-coms end. And I like that about it. It ends on a normal, like, life goes on kind of ending. And I love that about it. So I think I deem it as a rom-com for sure, even though it has some drama in it. By the way, second Joan Cusack movie brought up. No, I love this movie. I'm going to say yes to Broadcast News. I think this is a great movie.
Zach, what do you say about Broadcast News?
Oh, this is the theme for me tonight. Have not gotten around to it.
Unfortunately, it's not going to make the list.
I had it high. Damn.
You're not the only one, John.
I had it pretty high.
Dan, we're going to go back to you. What is the next movie to bring up?
Well, I mean, look. Obviously, I'm an Academy Awards guy, but it's rare that you get a great romantic comedy that's nominated for Best Picture. And look, yes, it's about a man who dresses up as a woman, but it's funny. It's some of the stuff with Dabney Coleman and Dustin Hoffman is pretty funny. And so I'm going to say Tootsie. You guys, it's in you guys' hand. But I just love this movie. I think it's a great movie, and Dustin Hoffman's doing something completely different than he's done in the past. He's really good, and the comedy between him and Dabney Coleman is funny, and
Sidney Pollack.
Sidney Pollack, Bill Murray's great in it. So yeah, I'm gonna say Tootsie.
Sidney Pollack.
But Jonathan, what do you say about Tootsie?
That's the scene with the tomato scene. Oh man, that's hilarious. The comedy, I think it's golden. I think it's an overlooked comedy for sure. There's a lot of laughs in this movie, and the romance really creeps up on you, especially when he's a woman and Dustin Hoffman plays Tootsie or Dorothy extremely well. Like, I did not notice it was Hoffman at first. He plays her like a different character. Like, he disappears, and he's great. He definitely deserved that nomination. I love this movie as well, and it's really heartwarming as well. And the romance is very tricky, but it pulls it off at the end with him and Jessica Lange, and that also ends in an unconventional way that most rom-coms do not, and I like that about it. It's a mature movie in addition to being a funny movie, and again, I think regarding the entertainment aspect, it holds up. So I'm gonna say yes to Tootsie.
But Zach, what do you say about Tootsie?
Okay, so I told you I can be swayed. So, it's one that I have wanted to see for years. I have not, but Dan and Jonathan have swayed me. So I'm giving it a slight yes, just because I haven't seen it, but it's been on my list for years.
I mean, I will say it was going to make the list regardless because I would have said yes because I love Tootsie. It's one that I did have to think about when I saw it on the list is about if it's a romantic comedy, but yeah, you make good points. It definitely is a romantic comedy. Like it's not one that it's one of those ones that you don't think about, but when you sort of analyze it a little bit, then you kind of see it for what it is, and I think it's a great movie. So it's an easy yes for me. So Tootsie is going to make the list. We've got 4 spots left, and we're going to go over to Jonathan next.
Okay. All right. So, and I alluded to this actor who got the news that he's recently retired from acting, and no, kudos to him. And I'm alluding to Michael Douglas. He announced it actually today or yesterday, but no, great career for him as an actor, Michael Douglas. And he had a few rom-coms in this decade, and the one I'm going to nominate is Romancing the Stone, with him, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito. Yes, Romancing the Stone. I think it's. I was skeptical going into watching this movie. I think it was either last year or 2 years ago when I watched it. But no, I enjoyed it very much. Definitely the chemistry between Douglas and Hunter was there. I mean, they work very well together. And while I was disappointed as he was not in it as much, DeVito is the standout as he's trying to get something for his efforts of, just performing this mission of finding the jewel. And Robert Zemeckis does a good job of immersing you into that adventure. And yeah, it just plays a romantic comedy version of Raiders of the Lost Ark, even though it doesn't hold a candle to it. But no, I think it's an action-driven, goofy, romantic comedy that serves well for both Douglas and Hunter. And maybe another one may be brought up. We'll see later. So I'll nominate Romancing the Stone.
Zach, what do you say about Romancing the Stone?
Okay, so I have seen this, and it's been years since I've seen it. I wasn't the biggest fan, and in my opinion, I think it's a little forgettable. But so I'm going to give it a slight no.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one that I watched for the first time, as I noticed that this and the sequel were both on Disney Plus for me. So it's like, I'll watch them both because the other one is not so much romantic comedy than this one, but I think this one worked, and it's pretty reminiscent of it's very similar to the Lost City that came out
Yeah.
a few years ago. And I thought this was just an entertaining thrill ride, and it shows that like romantic comedies don't need to be like sappy love stories all the time. You can do this romantic stuff and make it fun. And so yeah, it's gonna be an easy yes for me for Romancing the Stone. But Dan, what do you say about Romancing the Stone?
Yeah, I mean this is an all-time classic. I mean, this is when you could do stuff. You know, you could really have fun with some of the concepts that are involved with movie making, and you could take a Indiana Jones and do a romantic comedy knockoff. You know what I mean? And and you add a couple good actors in there, and it's a lot of fun. You know, and so Romancing the Stone is one of the fun ones that I loved when I was growing up as a kid. You know, it's like you just don't have to worry about taking it seriously. You know, and you can just have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, I'll say yes.
That Romancing the Stone is going to make the list. Zach, what is the next one you're going to bring up?
I have a feeling the one I'm going to bring up is not going to go through, but you know what? I'll shoot my shot. Why not? This is another one that is a guilty pleasure of mine, and it's a sequel that I actually think is better than the original. But I'm going to. Do you already know what I'm going to say, Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay. Say what you think I'm going to say.
I think Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Grease 2. Yeah. I'm bringing up Grease 2. I like it more than the original. I think it does have those definitely the romance aspects and some comedy aspects. And I just think it's a fun, entertaining movie. So again, I don't think it's going to go through, but I'll throw it out there anyway. So,
I thought you were going to bring up Scarface, but okay.
Oh yes, that famous romantic comedy Scarface.
It is kind of funny in parts, but no.
But yeah. Look, when it comes to Grease 2, I do like it. I think it is good. And while some people considering it better than the original, I think is crazy. I will say, there are some of the songs I actually do. If it was to vote based on the songs, I actually do like the songs in Grease 2 a little bit more than the original. But I think all the songs are good anyway. So, that's what it is. But I'll give this a slight yes. I do think it's good. It probably wouldn't end up really high on the list for me, but I do think it's a good romantic comedy. But Dan, what do you say about Grease 2?
Yeah, I feel bad for Zach because I keep voting all his down, and I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just, I can only vote. I can go what's in my heart based on what he's saying. I did vote. I think I said yes on Overboard, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I said no because it was down further on the list. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Grease 2. I love Grease, of course, but I'm not the biggest fan of Grease 2. So I didn't even think about this as far as a romantic comedy that'd be one of the best of the 80s. So I'm going to say no for Grease 2. Sorry, Zach. Once again, I apologize.
It's fine. I haven't seen a lot of your movies. You would vote down on mine. So.
But Jonathan, what do you say about Grease 2?
Well, the nicest thing I could say is that I don't detest it as much as Mannequin. There are a few good songs, and Michelle Pfeiffer has that spirit. But no, I think it's just a forgettable romantic comedy. I just okay, it's nah. So no.
But if that comes back to me, honestly, I'm going to bring it one that I'm kind of surprised hasn't been brought up yet, but also no, it's one of those movies that is people are very mixed on as well. But that's the Princess Bride. I think And while like it's one of those movies that I think is another one that's like really on the border when it comes to romantic comedies and that. But I think the romance works, the comedy does work as well, and I think the fantasy element helps it both. And I think the Princess Bride, once again, as we mentioned earlier, when it came to Rob Reiner, I think the Princess Bride is good, and it's just cements to his Rob Reiner's sort of big run he had when it comes to a good string of good movies until he hit North. But I think the Princess Bride is good, and I think it's an entertaining, and I think Carrie Elwes and Robin Wright were great in this, and I think it's an entertaining movie. But Dan, what do you say about the Princess Bride?
Yeah, I mean, it's got Andre the Giant in it. It's got Wallace Shawn in it. It's got, this classic cast of just crazy characters and stuff. And it's got this fantasy thing going on. But, I mean, you just can't help but like it. You know what I mean? No matter what the wackiness is going on, the five fingers of what's his face with the five fingers? God, why can't I remember his name right now?
Mandy Patinkin.
Mandy Patinkin. I love Mandy Patinkin. My name is Emilio, whatever, Montoya, and I'm here to kill you. I mean, this stuff is this. You can't make this stuff. Well, they made it up. But you just like, wow. I love this movie. And, when you really need a good laugh, this is the kind of movie that you can watch and say, yeah, I get a laugh out of this. And this is and there's a heartfelt romance with Robin Wright was it Carrie Elwes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carrie Elwes and Robin Wright. And just like, it seems more like a Mel Brooks movie than it does a Rob Reiner movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Mel Brooks made this, but no, Rob Reiner made it. But yeah, once again, I own the criteria of that. But yes, I'll say yes for this.
Jonathan, what do you say about the Princess Bride?
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
All right, I got the quote wrong.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I flub blinds all the time. I love this movie. Yeah, I love this movie. Yeah, the romance really works. I mean, I know when you're a kid, when watching it, you're like, ew, let's skip the kissing parts. But that's the fun of it. I mean, you're basically listening into it and also reliving this adventure, this fantasy adventure really well. And yeah, the romance really works. And the comedy, it's actually a lot funnier than you think. I mean, it's very funny. Yeah, inconceivable. Yeah, Wallace Shawn is in it. And yeah, Andre the Giant. Billy Crystal. Obviously, we have another Billy Crystal movie here, and yeah, I think this is the Wizard of Oz at this time. Yeah, you have the Wizard of Oz, the Princess Bride, and I think you can consider Stardust a little bit, even though it's a little more adult. But Stardust, I think actually that one holds up kind of well. It's underrated, and then I think we'll see how Wicked turns out, the part 2. But I think that this is an excellent movie. I love this movie, one of my favorites, and. Yeah, I was waiting for this one to come up, so yeah, I'll say yes for the Princess Bride.
And Zach, what do you say about the Princess Bride?
Okay, so I've had an interesting journey with this movie. So I've seen it one time, and when I saw it, this was many years ago, I actually thought it was a little overrated. But I have heard so many people talk about it, and I have wanted to see it again. Maybe because a new perspective I'll get a new perspective from watching it again. So I'm going to give it a yes, though.
Yeah, the Princess Bride is going to make the list. And before Jonathan credited, I had to actually just downloaded this like a split second before it.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Yeah.
You cannot laugh at that. You cannot laugh at that.
I laugh at it, and then it's badass. I mean, it becomes badass.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. And How I Met Your Mother, where they try quoting it as like the little things like "prepare to dance."
It's intense.
Yeah. But with that, I believe we're on Dan next. Dan, what is your next nomination?
A guy by the name of John Cusack. We haven't got his on here. Let's change that. I mean, who? There you go, Jonathan. Who doesn't remember that classic scene where he goes to the and has that song playing to the window? I mean, say anything. I love this movie, and I mean, John Cusack had like a niche that he had in his career, and it's like he couldn't find like, and he couldn't get out of that niche that he was in. But it's fine. I mean, he's still a great actor for that period of time and those type of movies that he was in. And Say Anything is one of those movies. What's the name of the song? You speaking of songs, Jonathan always brings up the songs, and I can't for the life of me.
In Your Eyes.
In Your Eyes. Yeah. Don't let me sing. I can't sing. But yeah, Say Anything.
I think I know.
Yeah, Jonathan, what do you say about Say Anything?
Yeah, I've only seen it like twice, and it's been a long time since I revisited. I very much enjoyed it. Yeah, there's a really funny perspective of how he wants to court this young lady played by Eon Sky, this class valedictorian, and after the graduation, and it's very interesting, and it is funny from a fantastical perspective, because this is this normal kid, just chasing Eon Sky.
It's Fraser's father, isn't it too? Right?
Yeah, that's John Mahoney.
John Mahoney.
By the way, we have a lot of interconnecting movies right now. We have Moonstruck. John Mahoney's in it. Great character, by the way. But that part brings up the drama part, as I think he's stealing something. He's stealing like money, embezzlement. I don't remember, but that's like the dramatic part of it. But Cameron Crowe does a good job writing this film, directing this film. I think this is his debut as a director. And I think it's a very well-written movie about just pursuit as well, just pursuit of young romance. And John Cusack, Eon Sky, they do a great job. John Mahoney gives a great supporting performance. This is due for a rewatch for sure. I need to rewatch it. But no, it's a very good movie, and it did make my list. Kind of low, but it did make it. So I'll say yes.
Zach, what do you say about Say Anything?
Yeah, so this movie is on my list. I have seen it. It's funny because I have one issue with this movie, and I feel like the father is too much in the movie. I feel like he's involved in too many of the storylines. Like he has his own sub storyline, but also in that, and I just feel like he's just a little bit too much in the movie. But I will say yes, because I think it is a good romantic comedy, and I like that they kind of change the characters, because usually it's like a popular girl and a nerdy guy. This one, it's a valedictorian and an average guy, so it's like I kind of like that. So I would give it a yes.
I'm not going to lie, I thought I was going to be playing this clip much earlier than this episode.
Good job.
Copyright.
I mean, it's only 9 seconds. It should be.
Right.
Yeah. If it was any longer, they don't would. Yeah,
it's a great song.
Jonathan, copyright. He goes copyright.
I was there right 3 times.
But this is another one of those like big movies where I just hadn't got around to. I was hoping that it was going to be on a streaming service for me, but it seems to be like not easy to find. The best. Well, I mean, on streaming services anyway, it's not on any of the ones I've got access to. But I will probably get around to watching it eventually. But this is another one I would have just given a blind guess to because of like how much I know about the movie as it is. So yeah.
It's not on Hulu in your country.
We don't have Hulu connected with overseas. It's not.
Yeah, it's Hulu here in the United States. So.
is talk of maybe they are looking at integrating Hulu and Disney Plus overseas as well. So maybe once that happens, I'll have access to it. But for now, I don't. but with that, we got one spot.
Oh boy,
Zach, what is your next nomination?
Wait,
no, it's Jonathan.
Oh, it is Jonathan.
All right.
I'm just waiting for one specific director to come up, Jonathan. We haven't said it. We haven't said any. How do we not mention any of this director's films?
The thing is that it's very tricky. You covered, I was gonna mention a teen movie, and then you brought up Saying Anything. I was like, okay, this is a great teen movie, so it's pretty good. The thing is, I'm between two, but am I going for the directed movie, or I'm going to go for his written movies? Because I don't think the other one holds up very well direction-wise. All right, I'm going to bring up this one. I think this is the more underrated one. And I think it is better than the other one that is usually more hailed. I'll be fine if it's going to be no, but this is an underrated movie from Howard Deutsch, written by John Hughes. And I'm thinking that you're alluding to him, right? John Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the writer of the 80s, and he understands the human condition, especially teenage human condition, very well. And I think it's better than the movie before that, and in '86. And I'm going to bring up Some Kind of Wonderful. That's the one I'm going to bring up. Because I feel like that's smarter. I think it's a smarter love triangle regarding pursuit of romance, especially in the teenage years. I was alluding to Pretty in Pink. And I think that's more a little too conventional. And I felt that is flawed and kind of unbelievable, to be honest. Whereas Some Kind of Wonderful, three great actors, Eric Stoltz, Leah Thompson, and the highlight of the movie, Mary Stuart Masterson. I think she is great. She makes this movie shine. She plays a tomboy high schooler who works with Eric Stoltz's character in a garage, and they're best friends. And Stoltz's character is in pursuit of Leah Thompson, the most beautiful student in the classroom. And but his father's pressuring him to be the first in the family to go to college. I think it's a more sophisticated movie. Some great characters, a great endearing love triangle. As I think you could predict, Mary Stuart Masterson being in love with Eric Stoltz, even though he doesn't see it. And I think it's great. It's really well written, intelligent. And also another one that is overlooked is Elias Koteas as the school troublemaker who has a great arc. I love his character so much, and I think it's very lost in the shuffle in terms of the teenage movies in the 1980s. So yeah, if I'm going to bring up a Hughes directed movie or a Hughes written movie, I'm going to bring up like an underrated movie, like an under the radar film. So I'm going to go Some Kind of Wonderful. Shoot my shot for this one.
Zach, what do you say about Some Kind of Wonderful?
Yes, I've seen this on a lot of romantic comedy lists, but it's sadly one I just have not gotten to. Okay. So I've seen some of his other work, I just haven't seen this one. So
I get it. It's cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also have not got around to this. When it comes to John Hughes movies, especially ones of the 80s, the ones I've seen that were out in the 80s are not as romantic comedies.
There's one, but I don't know about that one. I just,
But yeah, Dan, what do you say about Some Kind of Wonderful?
I actually would have went for Pretty in Pink, Jonathan, if I was you. I would have definitely said yes for Pretty in Pink. If I think it's a better movie. And it's, for me, I resonate with that movie, the story and the comedy and the romance more than Some Kind of Wonderful. So at that age, especially at that age in my life when I was seeing these John Hughes movies, so I would have said Pretty in Pink if I were you, because I would have said yes. For this one, I'm going to say no.
It's not over yet.
But yeah, unfortunately, Some Kind of Wonderful is not going to make the list. Zach, what is your next movie you're going to bring up?
Okay. Well, I'm not going in that direction, but I'm going to bring up an actor that we actually have talked about earlier, and I'm going to bring up Splash.
Shit. Ooh, that's a good one.
So, yeah, I think chemistry with him and Daryl Hannah works, and because it has that kind of also fantasy aspect to it, but you also get good performances from Eugene Levy and especially John Candy. So I'm going to throw out their Splash.
This is tough because there's a couple of movies I've got higher than this. I think that's better, but I also don't know how they're going to go either. But I do like Splash. I do think it's good, and yeah, it is one of those ones that I think, really enough, I don't think it gets talked about much these days, apart from the only time I think I've ever heard it talked about in the last few years when people were complaining about when it was put on Disney Plus and they did the computer CGI stuff to
the nudity.
But you know what? I'm going to give this a slight yes, just because I do think this might be another one that like people might be one that people expect to be on this list. And yeah, Dan, what do you say about Splash?
You know, I love Splash. I was 10 years old when Splash came out. It really started putting Tom Hanks in that kind of comedy thing that he was doing. He didn't get out of that for a few years before he got into the drama stuff in the 90s, but he was doing all those, The Man with One Red Shoe and Splash and Joe versus the Volcano and all these. It's like, man, these movies aren't that good. But I did like Splash as a 10-year-old kid. As an adult, I'm not as big a fan of it. And we also already have Big on the list. And if Big wasn't on the list already, I would have probably said yes to Splash just to get something like this on the list, Tom Hanks movie. But because Big is already on the list, I feel like I want to try to get a different actor, director, something like that, where it's a different kind of something different than another Tom Hanks thing on the list. So I'm going to say no.
Oh man, moving on me.
Yeah, Jonathan, what do you say about Splash?
All right, it is a funny movie. It's it's a literal fish out of water story. You know, we have some of these brought up. Daryl Hannah's winning in this movie. Tom Hanks is funny. John Candy and Eugene Levy, they're great.
They're good. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Ron Howard.
I think it's his directorial debut.
Yes, it is. Oh wait, really?
Yeah, Splash.
I thought Night Shift was
Night Shift after this. This is 84.
I don't know. You're gonna have to look it up. But no, Splash. It's a good movie. I don't have it as high on the list. I do have honorable mentions because of the winning chemistry between Hanks and Hannah. Dan makes a good point. We do have a Tom Hanks movie on there. I'm gonna go a slight no. It is good. I do have another Daryl Hannah movie in the mix though, so let's see if it goes back to me. I don't know, but I'm gonna say a slight no. It is a good movie. I do recommend it.
But to answer Dan's question, Night Shift was before this. It was 82, but before Night Shift was Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that's wow.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
No, we got a movie of we've got a movie of Grand Theft Auto before we got GTA 6.
Oh wow! Okay, that's crazy. I thought Splash was his first movie.
Nope. Wow. I think you're thinking it's his first movie from Touchstone. That's the one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just.
But with that, we're going to transition from Tom Hanks to someone Tom Hanks would later work with in a movie, Julia Roberts. And I'm going to bring up Mystic Pizza.
Oh man.
And this is one that I actually watched for the first time with this because it's like this I've heard so much about this and just haven't had to go around to it and it's stars the late Conchata Ferrell, who was in 2.5 Men as Bertha, but they also got a really early Matt Damon appearance in this as well. But I thought the movie is pretty good, and it was just it was really entertaining, and yeah, it's just case of this woman getting cold feet in her wedding, and then is all about sort of getting back to there and all that. And I think it's just just an entertaining movie. Honestly, it's one of those ones that kind of made me angry. It took me this long to watch it because of how much I liked it. But Dan, what do you say about Mystic Pizza?
Oh man, Malcolm, you're killing me. I love this movie. I love Mystic Pizza. It's such an underrated rom-com that a lot of people don't talk about. And like you said, it's got Julia Roberts, and it's like one of her. I think this is like one of her breakout movies, if not her breakout movie. And Matt Damon did have a small role in it. God, I'm just so torn because I want to get something else on the list from this one particular writer. But God Almighty, man, I like this movie, and it was in my honorable mentions, same as Splash. So we're both in my honorable mentions. I'm going to leave it up to the other two guys. I'm going to say no and see what happens.
But yeah, just quickly, depending on release date thing, technically Julia Roberts' breakthrough performance was a movie called Satisfaction, which was in the same year as Mystic Pizza. So it's still that's her first sort of big year. Before that, she was like an uncredited movie in a direct-to-video movie called Firehouse, which I've never heard of. But Jonathan, what do you say about Mystic Pizza?
I'm just really anticipating what Zach's going to say because I'll be very surprised that you say you've seen it. Because I do like this movie actually enough to put it in the top 12 because it's not talked about very much. How I describe Mystic Pizza is an 80s small town version of Little Women. Minus the death of, Beth, basically. But no, I recommend the movie because I think all three female leads are fleshed out very well. And I buy their connection, and all those four stories are connected with relationships, and they're very well executed. And the one performance that stood out to me, Annabelle Gish, storyline. I think it's a great storyline. It's dealt more with empowerment and responsibility than the others. And the Roberts storyline starts out interesting, but it fizzles out. I think it just ends rushed. It's not as much development. But it's a nice movie. And, the storylines are fleshed out, really well developed. And obviously you would crave for pizza. I mean, the end. And, it's wholesome. I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to be surprised if you've seen it, Zach, because I like this movie. I think this is not talked about as much, but yeah. I'll say yes to Mystic Pizza.
Zach, what do you say about Mystic Pizza?
Jonathan, stop reading my mind. I have not seen it. It was going to be the next one I saw. It's on Tubi. Just did not have any time to watch it. So
you want to reconsider, Dan?
Yes, it was the next one I was going to watch. So
well, I mean, not that I don't want to reconsider, Jonathan. It's just that I just feel like I don't know. There should be a John Hughes movie on the list. What can I say?
Well, anyway,
it's your turn.
Dan,
it's your turn.
You're next. So.
You get another chance. So,
and I'm going to say Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
I'm going to say Pretty in Pink because I feel like this deserves to be on the list. We don't have a lot of rom-coms from the female perspective, and Molly Ringwald.
What was Mystic Pizza?
I know it was. I know. I was thinking about it the whole time. I was thinking about it the whole time. I know Mystic Pieces from a female perspective, but Molly Ringwald is one of the iconic people from that decade, and this movie epitomize the rom-com genre and the teen rom-com genre. And it's just like, it's John Hughes. It's like classic John Hughes, better than Some Kind of Wonderful, in my opinion. And I just feel like this deserves to be on the list. So I'm saying Pretty in Pink. I could be completely shot down right now.
Jonathan, what do you say about Pretty in Pink?
Okay, I think the reason why I'm not as crazy about this movie is because of its denouement between the in the romance department. It's not spoiling anything. It just went the Hollywood route more than the normal realistic route that Hughes usually pens in his movies, and I do disagree with that ending. It's basically the how each character in that triangle is developed in the end, and I think it's interesting. Andrew McCarthy is really hit or miss for me. I don't think I like him as an actor as much. I don't think I vibe with him. Maybe that's why I was not as enthusiastic with Mannequin and Elmo's Fire. I just didn't like him in it. But there's some good actors in here besides those three. I think Annie Potts, Dean Stanton is great in the movie. James Spader, with this douchey 80's haircut. He's pretty good in it. And by the way, a little Mannequin reunion there too. So I'm not as enthusiastic, but I do definitely root for this one over the other John Hughes movie that I think is a romantic comedy. The more I think about it, I'm just gonna surrender and say a yes to it because we do need a John Hughes movie. He was the director of the 80's, the teen director of the 80's. So sure, I'll surrender.
Zach, what do you say about Pretty in Pink?
Okay, so I have seen it. I will say that. I prefer the other one more, and it's for one reason. And the reason is Ducky. I knew you were
going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
No, I cannot stand that character. He just, every time he's on screen, it's just like it takes the movie down for me.
You know what I mean?
So
I'm like Andrew McCarthy. It's like I couldn't stand McCarthy. So
I felt like the one that people think about the most is Pretty in Pink, more so than like 16 Candles. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
But to be fair, I'm not a huge fan of either, but I prefer 16 Candles a little bit more.
Yeah, I was debating on which one to go with, but I figured the bigger one, the more known one.
It was really up to Malcolm.
So, you know what? I'm going to leave it up to Malcolm because I'm going to give it a no.
Yeah, one of these days I will get around to watching all the John Hughes movies. I haven't seen either Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles, so neither neither would help. But this is one of those ones that if it came up, like this is like one of the bigger ones I am going to give a blind yes to, just
okay.
And looking what I've got left, there's some which are kind of iffy if they're romantic comedies or not, and then there's some which I don't know kind of where they would go if I brought them up anyway. So Pretty in Pink is going to close off the list.
You know what's crazy too, though, is it just barely missed it by like 3 months. You know what barely missed the decade by 3 months? Pretty Woman missed the decade by 3.
Oh yeah, it came out on Valentine's Day or something.
February? March.
Oh, March.
Came out in March.
Interesting, March. Okay.
Can you believe that? We were 3 months away from missing Pretty Woman on the list.
So with that, we're going to go to some honorable mentions. Zach, what are some honorable mentions? Oh, John.
Again?
I keep it. No, it's more than I forgot who nominated it, but yeah, Jonathan, what are some honorable mentions you had?
Man, I feel so sad about broadcast news not being on the list. Okay, so the War of the Roses was one that I was speculating on, because the comedy is so dark.
Yeah,
but the romance is already developed.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was a very tricky one for me to bring up. So I'll give it an honorable mention because it is a bold movie about
the remake. Oh, cannot wait for the remake.
So, yeah.
Oh my god, that was
the other Daryl Hannah I was alluding to was Roxanne.
That would have been 13 for me. That would have been 13, Jonathan.
That was my next nomination because I wanted a Steve Martin comedy.
Oh, I know. That's why I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, Roxanne would have been All of Me. Is an interesting movie. Victor Victoria. I think that's an interesting fun movie. Julie Andrews. Modern Romance is an Albert Brooks movie that is interesting and observing. Let's see, a couple more. I consider Little Shop of Horrors a romantic comedy. I mean, there's a romance in there, and it's very well developed, and it's pretty funny. Another Steve Martin movie.
Yeah.
And the one more I would say is where is it? Oh, the one movie I just saw for the first time that's now released on Criterion was Crossing Delancey. It's a very nice romantic comedy. Two Jewish people, trying to get together. So yeah, it's a lovely movie. So that's it.
But Zach, what are some honorable mentions that you got?
I only have one that was not brought up. The other Nicolas Cage movie that I alluded to, Valley Girl.
Oh
yeah. But yes, some that I've got on here, some that came up on the list that was like considered romantic comedy would have been high up on the list, but I didn't bring that. I'm not too sold on romantic comedy, but Scrooged is one that came up on a few romantic comedy lists. That's
an interesting one.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
right, Malcolm.
Yeah.
The World According to Garp is another one that sort of came up.
I haven't seen that movie.
So, yeah. And Desperately Seeking Susan is one that came up on a few lists, which The Fabulous Baker Boys, I think, is pretty good. And this is kind of like, you may consider it a good pleasure, but this is one I actually watched a while back because Paul Preston kept on going on about it, but it's Teen Rich with that dance scene like top that. But yeah, and then one of the probably they're about an hour in which I'm honestly surprised no one else brought it up, and that's the original After. I think the original After.
I'm not a fan of it.
I liked it. I think the comedy is funny with John Gielgud in the movie. The romance is, I think it's pushed back.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
And Dan, what are some honorable mentions you had?
Yeah, you guys basically said all the ones I would have said, but I did have one, The Woman with One Red Shoe, that nobody mentioned, with Gene Wilder, which I loved.
Oh no, that's The Woman in Red. That one.
The Woman in Red.
That one.
It is The Woman in Red. Did I say the woman? I've said I got it right.
That's the Tom Hanks
The Woman in Red. The Woman in Red, not the woman with one red shoe.
No, I knew what you mean.
Yeah, I had it on my list at The Woman in Red. Why did I say the woman with one red shoe?
You're thinking Tom Hanks.
Yeah, but I had that Gene Wilder one on my list, The Woman in Red. But yeah, the weird part about it, I just want to say is, like, movies you think of rom-coms, they don't consider them like Weird Science isn't considered a rom-com. But I freaking think it's a rom-com because it's nerds creating a gorgeous woman, you know what I mean? But they consider it sci-fi, but stuff like that, you're like, wow, this is actually harder than it seemed. This list was harder than it seemed. Like Pretty Woman, 3 months after 1989. So you missed that one, which you think Pretty Woman, right? You don't think it as a 90s movie, do you? But it is a 90s movie, technically.
Man, if you had brought up Scrooge, I would have said an immediate yes, actually. That's a romantic comedy, actually. Christmas romantic comedy. Yeah.
I wish I put it up now, but anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as we go into the 70s and classics, it's going to get a little bit more murky about romantic comedies.
There's a lot of old-fashioned ones, a lot of older ones.
So if that is time to sort of vote on where we want these movies to end up. Dan, what movie do you want at number 12?
Big.
Jonathan.
I have Overboard.
Zach.
Working Girl.
So we're going to start off with 4 times. I had Moonstruck. So going to go to the chat. We've got Moonstruck, Big, Working Girl, and Overboard. The first comment I see will be the one that decides what ends up at 12. And Leo got in first, and it is going to be Big.
Who brought up Big? Was it you, Dan?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But no, I knew it was more of a kind of a family film than a rom-com, so that's why I did it.
Oh, I like Brian's comment. Peggy Sue Got Married. That's actually a good one.
No. I brought up Big.
Oh, was you that brought up Big? Oh, okay. I thought.
No, I said Peggy Sue Got Married.
No, he's the one who brought up Big as the on the thing, not me. I thought I brought it up because I had it on my list, but Malcolm ended up bringing it up, not me.
No. Okay, no, it was fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no. I do. It was kind of crossed over there.
Hold on, Moonstruck, Working on Me, Overboard, and Big. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah. But Jonathan, what do you have for 11?
I'm sticking with Overboard.
Zach.
I'm sticking with Working Girl.
It's going to come down to either Dan or the chat. I'm sticking with Moonstruck. Dan, what do you have for 11?
Overboard.
Okay.
It's Overboard as opposed to the Adam Sandler movie Going Overboard, which I wouldn't. It's just not rom-com and it's not good. No, why did I erase my board?
I'm going to assume Zach stays.
But Zach, what do you have for 10?
Yes, I'm saying only because I haven't seen it. So
yeah.
Dan.
Oh,
Working Girl.
Oh, I put Pretty in Pink.
But Working Girl was going to be at 10. I'm sticking with Moonstruck. Dan.
Pretty in Pink.
Jonathan.
Yeah, I can hear the end credits song in the Pretty in Pink movie. Pretty in Pink.
And Zach.
Pretty in Pink.
Okay. This gets hard for me, actually. Oh, man, this is hard. This one because I haven't seen.
Dan, what do you have for 8?
Hold on. Romancing the Stone.
Zach. No, Jonathan.
This is number 3. Say Anything.
Zach.
Tootsie.
Moonstruck. So we've got another 4 We've got Moonstruck, Romancing the Stone, Tootsie, and Say Anything. The first comment I see.
You know what?
Actually,
why? We're gonna have a talk, Stephen.
Come on, Stephen.
It's at Blind. It was actually the one that came in first.
Okay.
I clicked the wrong banner because I was trying to bring up Stephen. But Moonstruck is going to be at 8. So,
come on, Brian.
No, well, that's fine.
It's a classic. It's considered by everybody a absolute classic.
I mean,
You know, I'm gonna change.
Yes, it is the number 8 classic. Yes, the number 8.
Well, yeah,
it's on the list.
Got it.
I'm gonna
Zach.
Yeah.
Both of you guys. Okay.
Well, no, I wasn't going to say anything bad about the movie. I was saying it's good.
You say anything? You're not gonna say anything? Okay. and wink. Say it.
No pun intended, right, Malcolm?
No pun intended. Or change it.
But Jonathan, what do you have for 7?
Yeah, I changed it. Romancing the Stone.
That
I forgot about that one.
Tootsie.
The Princess Bride. Dan.
Romancing the Stone.
Okay, I have to think what you're thinking, Dan. That's the thing. It's very difficult. No, this is difficult.
Malcolm, can you just scroll up on the list a little bit so we can see some of these other ones? I forget what's at the beginning of the list.
Well, we have When Harry Met Sally, Bull Durham, Coming to America, Tootsie, The Princess Bride, and Say Anything.
It's I didn't realize that if I scroll up or down on the private chat, then it affects what you can see now. They've StreamYard have changed the private chat stuff now.
Yeah, I noticed it a little bit. It has changed a bit.
Yeah.
I can scroll up. I'm an idiot. I can just scroll up on my own laptop like a moron, dude.
It's all good.
Idiot.
But they've also added the people tab, so I could control people's audio if I want to as well, but not that I needed to. But
Mute.
Zach, well, not so much that. But Zach, what do you have for 6?
My answer has not changed. Tootsie.
Princess Bride. Dan.
Princess Bride.
Shit.
And Jonathan.
I'm gonna make the top 5. Damn it! Say Anything.
We already voted Say Anything, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
No.
I thought Leo voted it.
No. It was Moonstruck. Moonstruck came in first. I accidentally pressed Leo's comment.
Okay. All right. That's why I got confused. Okay.
You should have been top 5. That's fine. All right, that's cool.
It could have been worse. It could have just not made the list.
Yeah, we're gonna have a riot.
You actually did a good job on this list, considering.
No, this is a good list. It's a good
narrow category.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
But for me, I'm go Tootsie. Dan.
Say Anything.
Oh, we're gonna have a situation here.
Oh boy.
Say Anything.
And Zach.
Yeah, we knew we had Tootsie. So
we're going to go to the chat. The first comment I see with either Tootsie or Say Anything is the one that decides what ends up. And it is going to be Say Anything because both Leo and Brian both said it.
All right.
Also, I had to laugh at this comment. Stephen loves Cameron Crowe, but he doesn't love Say Anything.
Oh wow. Ask him if he's in. Never mind. Are you in Orlando yet, Stephen?
Oh, this is a good place for this one, actually. Yeah, it's a good place for this one.
But
actually, you know, I'm changing it.
What have we got left? Oh, we got 4 left, Malcolm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When Harry, Coming to America, Bull Durham, and Tootsie.
Yeah.
I'm changing.
Right. And Stephen said he'll probably be there in September.
September? Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
But Dan, what do you have for number 4?
I got Coming to America.
Nope. I put Bull Durham. Oh.
No way, man.
Zach.
No.
Tootsie.
Let's see.
Yeah. You see, I would concede having Tootsie number 4. I'm not studying for Coming to America.
No, I knew those guys were going to have Tootsie, but I just wasn't going to go for Tootsie, so I just wrote something else. I knew they weren't going to change. This is where it gets interesting, though.
After this. After this one.
But Jonathan, what do you have number 3?
Bull Durham.
Zach.
Bull Durham.
God damn it.
Bull Durham.
Damn.
Dan.
You guys are awful.
Well, to be fair, you knew at least 2 of the 4 people haven't actually seen Bull Durham.
Oh, that's right.
I'm just not one of the people that
you know what?
That
I'm actually surprised this is high. I mean, I'm very surprised it's very high.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones. I think Zach probably had other ones he hasn't seen, and he was doing more. I try not to vote for things I haven't seen unless it's a case of I feel like I have to.
Yeah, all the ones I've written are ones I just haven't seen. So
yeah.
All right. So this is it. So number 1.
Yep.
We're voting for number 1 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's either going to be When Harry Met Sally or Coming to America.
These were my top 2. Yeah. They worked out.
I mean, there was a prediction in the chat of where this is probably going to go. But we'll find out. Zach, what do you have for number 1?
Coming to America.
When Harry Met Sally. Dan.
When Harry Met Sally.
And Jonathan.
When I think of rom-coms of the 80s, I think of the timeless When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally will be number 1.
Yeah.
I handed it to Jonathan.
No, both of them were in my top 64. So, hey, I'm okay.
No, what I'm saying is it was my number 1, and I went with Terms of Endearment because I wanted to do something different.
But with that, our top 12 1-minute comedies of the 80s. At 12, we've got Big. At 11, we've got Overboard. At 10, we got Working Girl. At 9, we got Pretty in Pink. At 8, we got Moonstruck. At 7, we got Romancing the Stone. 6, we got The Princess Bride. At 5, we got Say Anything. At 4, we got Tootsie. At 3, we got Bull Durham. At 2, we got Coming to America. And number 1 is When Harry Met Sally. And just some comments that came up from the chat. Steven said he loves Coming to America, but doing Harry Met Sally. And yeah, Jordan doesn't like Moonstruck.
I don't understand. I really don't understand. I don't know.
But with that, with next week's episode of Rankum is going to be by an overwhelming margin. It's going to be our franchise back of the Medea movies. No, it's not.
What? Who voted for that?
No one voted for that.
Okay.
It's going to be top 12 Ben Foster movies.
Top 12 what? Kane Hodder?
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster.
Oh, Ben. Does he have 12 movies?
Oh,
he's got 12 movies.
That's interesting.
Are you gonna vote for the? Are you guys gonna vote for the one where he plays the drug taking?
Well, maybe we'll find out.
Stay tuned next weekend.
Yes, stay tuned next week. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like when I came up the polls, like I didn't think Medea was going to get any votes. I just threw it on because I felt like it, just see what would happen. It was, I mean, Agents of Chaos sometimes. It most likely won't appear on the list again unless Tyler Perry makes another Medea movie, which probably will happen down the line. Dan, where can people find you online?
You can find me right there. I am the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic at FromTheFourthRow.com. Also, my name, Dan Skipal, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, X not Twitter, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, Threads, or any variation of DP Skipal or From the Fourth Row. Also, I've been doing a Survivor podcast with my brother. We're going down all the Survivor castaways that are going to be on the 50th season of Survivor. So we're doing episode by episode. We're talking about each of the castaways. Also, I was on Picture This with on the Dill Pickle Network not very recently, and we did the films of 1976 Academy Awards. Very good episode, I might add. I highly recommend you guys watch that. Also, I'm over on the Chasing Labels. Predominantly, it's a physical media channel, and we're doing a show called Movies Down Memory Lane, where we just take a movie from our past that we love quite a bit, and we just discuss it, and we have our other two people talk about it, whether they like it or they don't like it, how they feel about it. Also, we're working on a game show, so stay tuned for that. You might be hearing news about the game show pretty soon. And I'm over on the Movie Hero Network occasionally here and there. So I'm pretty much everywhere. You can, on the internet.
Jonathan, where can people find you online?
Yeah, this was a fun episode. Discussing love and laughs of the 80s, reflecting on nostalgia. All right. You can find me on social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, and Threads, different variations of Cinecaro. On Instagram, I'm going to wrap up Superhero Origins tournament. And the next tournament after that, look, it's time. It's in the making. The next one is going to be Adam Sandler. So Adam Sandler movie is going to be the next tournament in honor of Happy Gilmore 2. It's going to happen. So that'll be it. Also, I'm going to wrap up the deadline for the submitting your top movies of the 21st century. I moved it to Tuesday. So you're going to have some time to fill up your movies from the 21st century. So yeah, get to it. I'll send a link if you want. Let's see what else. Movie Hero Network. You can see me there this week. I'll discuss movies of '93 on part 2 and on the championship. So Wednesday and Friday I'll be there, and also my top 128 is coming up in a few weeks. A few of these people will be there, and we'll have some fun. I'm still making the list. So. And thanks for having me, Malcolm. This was a lot of fun.
Zach, we can be on you online.
Mainly Letterboxd and YouTube at MovieFanZ. I try to upload a new review every day. The one I did today was actually an old one. Rocky Balboa was the one that I uploaded today. But other than that, you can find me on Multiplex and TBNT and Movie Hero Network. I will also be on the same episodes that Jonathan will be next week on part 2 and part 3 of 1993. So you can find me a lot of different places.
But yeah, you can find me on Paper Productions, where I host rank them every week. Next week will be top 12 Ben Foster movies. Should be interesting. But you can also find me on my own personal channel, hosting Spear from the Past each week. Next episode will be Backlash 2017. Probably try and do that within a couple of weeks. I've got a busy few weeks at the moment because I will be on the Movie Hero Network this week as well for the latest series of 1993. But if that is the end of ranking for this week. But until next week, we'll see you next time.
Hello. My name is Inigo